Hall to ensure everyone has access. When people think of parks, we think of green space and people out walking and enjoying the amenities. We don't think of cars. Why are you and members of your group so passionate in your fight against City Hall to make it a car-friendly zone?
Because so many people are dependent on transport. It's 399 acres and it's hilly. And most of the major venues are in the middle of the park. The zoo, the Grenadier restaurant, the Hillside Gardens, Grenadier Pond. They're a long walk from the entranceways, and people with, mobility, small children just can't do that. And we're not pro-car, we're not anti-cyclist, but we want people to be able to access the park, and this is shutting people out.
The councillor for the area, Gord Perks, says that they are working on a way to have some sort of transit or train allowing people in and out of the park. Does that sit well with you?
If I'm still alive in 5 years, it might, because that's how long it's going to take them to find a suitable vehicle.
Now, the group CARP, the Zoomer group, has said that this is, they're calling it more of an ageist policy. Do you agree?
Well, yes, and of course that is what CARP is all about, and it is ageist, very ageist, but it's also families with young children. If you check our petition and read the comments, there's a great many of them say that. People saying, I take my mother to the park and I can't anymore, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Do you frame this as a generational divide in terms of those who want to have cars in the park and those that don't?
Well, as the main body of people who want not to have cars in the park do seem to be of a younger demographic than I am. But that's because most people don't think past their own experiences, and they don't realize what it's like to get old.
So how would you tell other people how difficult it is now for those who are older and those who have mobility issues? How difficult is it to maneuver into that park?
Well, it's impossible if you can't walk any distance. As simple as that. We need the park fully opened so everybody can enjoy it. It's about people. Everyone should have access to park in their own time, 7 days a week, not be corralled into specific times and places due to physical limitations. The city is turning Hyde Park into a personal playground for the fit and the able-bodied.
And what do you say to those who say, look, there are other large cities right around the globe who have such parks and there's no vehicles allowed and everyone gets along just fine?
Well, we have them too. There's a whole area along the Lakeshore, there's the Humber River Valley, the Leslie Street Spit, Rouge Park, Rosedale Ravine, the Rail Path, Mount Pleasant. The Brick Walk is a very enjoyable walk with no cars. This is more about not in my backyard. This is some of the people who live around the park who don't want cars in the park. They have been very influential in this decision.
Do you feel that your group was consulted at all?
Well, I did the survey and I was at all the meetings. And I was one of many of the people involved with us. But it was promoted as a traffic study. Nobody knew about it. That's what everybody says. Nobody knew. I didn't know. Since with all this publicity, our petition is getting 150 people signing up every day. And they only interviewed 73 people actually in the park. So I don't know where they get their figures from. And it was promoted as a traffic study.
Gord Perks claims that there was ample consultation with all parties, all stakeholders involved.
The stakeholders, most of the stakeholders were at least some of the meetings, yes, but they weren't listened to. And as I say, again, it was promoted as a traffic study. Nobody anticipated they were going to close the park down.
You say you're seeing less people using the park. Do you think that this is something the city anticipated?
Well, I have to think that they're trying to keep people out of the park. It's obvious if you close it down, it's going to be empty. They've taken away 335 parking spaces, and if you were there 2 weeks ago on a nice sunny day, the park was full of parked cars.
What is the next step then for High Park access for all? I know there have been some rallies. What will you do next to keep the pressure on the city to reverse course?
Everything we can. That's all we can do. I don't think we should have to put pressure on the city. They should realize they've made an error and put it right.
Will there be more rallies?
Yes.
Diane, thank you for this.
Thank you, Christine, for calling.
That was Diane Backel of the group High Park Access for All.